Hello, you're welcome to this special legal talk on the meaning of and the Federal Capital Territory Abuja as provided for in section 134, subsection 2B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm emphatic about this particular expression and the section specifically because that is the subject in most legal fora. That's the subject of discussion in most legal fora in recent times. And, you know, from the point of view of credibility, I think I owe the society a duty. I owe the legal community a duty. I owe the judges and even the laymen on the streets the duty to explain what and the Federal Capital Territory Abuja means as provided for in section 134, subsection 2B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended is, as a matter of fact. And the question here is, why do I think I owe the society duty to explain what it means? I owe the society duty to explain what it means. I owe the legal community duty to explain what it means. I owe the laymen on the streets to explain what it means, because we all are expected to know our rights. We are expected to have a basic knowledge of the Constitution, what it means. We are expected to know how those who are to lead us are elected into the various offices. So it is our duty to, as a matter of fact, based on our position of maybe authority, which we occupy by virtue of our experience, in one way or the other, come out to say that, okay, this is our opinion, but this opinion is not, as a matter of fact, meant to be imposed on others, but this is our view. And if we open our minds as enlightened citizens, as enlightened people, we will be able to appreciate what what that section of the Constitution is actually talking about. Now, in explaining, in telling us what that section of the Constitution is talking about, or in telling us what the expression and the Federal Capital Territory means, it is important that I introduce myself. I am Teddy Debita. I am the principal consultant of Professor Teddy Debita Law Consult. Professor Teddy Debita Law Consult is a dispute resolution, legal practitioner research consulting, and general practice law firm. As a matter of fact, we are actually so concerned about using law as a ministry to promote development in the society. We are concerned about using law as a ministry to preach peace in the society. So this legal talk is important because by the time we are able to come up with our own view concerning the meaning of that expression, we believe that we will have developed the society in our own way and allocate our values in such a way that the society will come to know the Constitution better and appreciate it as a ground norm and which regulates our conduct. Now, back to the expression and the Federal Capital Territory Abuja in section 134, subsection 2B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. For you to understand that particular section, you need to ask yourself the meaning of and, as it were, is a coordinated conjunction. It can be used as a legal connector. It can also be used to join two sentences, two items, two clauses, or even more than two clauses, more than two sentences, and what have you. In fact, and can be used to join two main clauses, and can be used to join two or more than two main clauses, and can be used to join two, three, four, five, six, seven sentences. So, and has a lot of functions, but it has just a simple meaning. And this simple meaning is that it is a coordinating conjunction that is used to join two or more than two things, two or more than two sentences, two or more than two clauses, two or more than two expressions. That is a simple meaning of and. Apart from what I've explained, and can also be used, as a matter of fact, even as a contrast. I know this is surprising, but this advanced English. But simply put, and can be used to join two or more than two two things. Let me use that word in a generic sense. Things could be sentences, could be clauses, could be expressions, and what have you. Now, the question is, what is the meaning of and as it is used in section 134, subsection 2B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? The simple truth is that and as used in that particular section means pure addition. And another word for that pure addition is also. So in other words, and as used in that section means also, or it means pure addition. That is something that is added to maybe a list or maybe to what has been mentioned before, as to show that there is something more to what has been said before. That is a simple meaning. And if you look at how it is used in that particular section of the Constitution, you will agree with me that and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, is not among the 36 states of the Federation. There is a difference between and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, and the 36 states of the Federation. But it is elementary English. You will hear some nursery school rhymes in this way, local Nigerian nursery school rhymes in this way, when the pupils are actually asked to recite the states and capital of the Federation. You will hear them say there are 36 states and capitals. 36 states and capitals in Nigeria. You will hear them say it, and they will tell you, and FCT. The truth is that we are not saying here that FCT has one unique, one special status, different from the other states of the Federation, as to make it superior. But what we are saying is that the FCT is a unique and distinct place in Nigeria, which is different from the other 36 states. And it is clear in section 134, subsection 2B of the Constitution, that the 36 states of the Federation were clearly distinguished from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. It is clear. Now, to enable us understand it better, I think it is important that I do a screen share so that you understand what I am talking about. Now, let me do a screen share. The screen share will give you an idea of what I am talking about. So you can see it here. Right in the screen share, you will see that section 134, subsection 2, A and B clearly tells us what and means there. Now, in explaining this and, I think it's also important for me to explain the the first and there, which is the and as you can see in section 134 sub 2A. Now, the first and there is different from this and as you can find in section 134 sub 2B. Now, what is the meaning of section 134 subsection 2B? Let me read. It said, a candidate for an election to the office of president shall be deemed to have been duly elected where there have been more than 2 candidates for the election. A, that is where he has the highest number of votes cast at the election. That is, and he has not less than 1/3 of the vote cast at the election each of at least 2/3 of all the states in the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. This is elementary. What this is telling you is that for you to be qualified as someone, qualified as, for you to be elected as president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, you have to meet 2 requirements. And these 2 requirements have been listed here. The first one here is that you must have obtained, you must have got the highest number of votes cast at the election. That is not enough. And you must have not less than 1/3 of the votes cast at the election each of at least 2/3 of all the states in the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory. So that is it. In other words, you need 1/4. 1/4, of course, that is a simple majority. So if you are looking at it from this particular perspective, you will observe that you cannot isolate A, so substation 1, substation A, substation 2A from substation 2B. 2B. Both of them, they go together. So that is it. Now, I often have heard some persons talking about whether a disjunctive meaning can be read into this section. Please, for God's sake, you cannot read any disjunctive meaning into this particular section. It's not applicable here because there is nothing as to suggest that or is stated in the list here. In the list here, we have 2, because where a statute provides makes mention of and in any of the expressions, in any of the provisions, as the case may be, the and will definitely have a meaning of connecting some other items in that particular provision or some other subjects, as the case may be, in that particular provision. So it's not possible for you to say, it's not possible for you to read a disjunctive meaning into section 1 of 34 subsection 2B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So the word and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, is a word, I mean, the expression and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, is an expression that must be read together with uh, um, the uh, the entire provision. You cannot isolate it, you know, as it were. And if we are to read it in that particular manner, we will come to just one conclusion, that if you are to, if they are to count the vote cast, whatsoever that you score must not be less than 1/4 of the vote cast at the election of at least 2/3 of all the states, of at least 2/3 of all the states. Now, come to think of it, in Nigeria, we have 36 states. Then we have a Federal Capital Territory, which is different from the 36 states in Nigeria. But for the purpose of the legislative, executive, or for the purpose of determining the legislative, executive, or judicial powers of any of the organs of government in the FCT, what you need to do is that for that purpose, the FCT is considered as a state of its own. And that you're going to find when you go, when you read maybe section 299 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. But for this purpose, for the purpose of voting, for the purpose of determining the votes cast, for the purpose of telling that at least someone has secured a certain number of votes in the FCT, that person must have at least 25% of the votes cast in the FCT. Now, for the purpose of determining who will be elected as president, that is what I mean in this case, that person must have secured votes not less than certain number of votes, not less than 25%. 25% is specific, not less than 25%. And the not less than 25% here will give you simple majority. And this not less than 25% must include the FCT. Now, if the drafters of this provision were to exclude the FCT, then the word "and" would not have actually come in. The proper expression would have been that a candidate for an election to the office of president shall be deemed to have been duly elected where there have been more than 2 candidates for the election. He has the highest number of votes cast at the election, and he has not less than 1/4 of the vote cast at the election in each of at least 2/3 of all the states in the federation, which shall exclude the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. I don't know if you get me right there. I said, which shall exclude the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. So in this particular case, what it means is that for the purpose of determining the 2/3, the simple majority, what you just need is uh, um, um, the vote cast in the 36 states, excluding the FCT. Hence, I use the expression which shall exclude the FCT. But for the fact that the FCT is included, is added to this, was added to this 2/3 majority, it suffices to note that if a candidate does not or fails to meet to secure 25% of the vote cast in FCT, that candidate cannot be said to have been qualified to be declared the winner of the election, because the expression "and the Federal Capital Territory Abuja," as stated there, as we can see in the Constitution, is conjunctive. It's not disjunctive. If it is disjunctive, then we can now take one of the two. And it is not possible for the expression to be disjunctive, because what it means is that it is either you score 25% in FCT, or at least, it's either you score at least 25% in FCT, or you score at least 25% in each of the 36 states of the Federation. Just take a look at this section again. You agree with me here that, and the Federal Capital Territory Abuja is different, is definite. They distinguish the Federal Capital Territory Abuja from the 36 states of the Federation. And the 36 states of the Federation, of course, we all know them. A KG1 pupil, as a matter of fact, in Nigeria, knows that in Nigeria we have 36 states, that we do not have 37 states. So when you want to talk about the 36 states, of course, we all know the states. Because the Federal Capital Territory is the seat of power, is a commercial capital, is the administrative capital of Nigeria. It is distinct, different, or unique when you compare it with the other 36, with the other states, with the 36 states in the Federation. However, this does not make it any place that will be designated as a place of special status with the citizens who are special citizens. Then no, not at all. That is not the purpose of the section. So that is it. Now, let me take us to English language, as it were, because this is a legal English we're talking about here. Now, in English, the word "and" has 8 semantic implications, as the case may be. These 8 semantic implications has different attributes, and I will tell you that the last implication of "and" in these 8 semantic implications, the last one simply describes "and" as pure addition, not just addition. It's a pure addition. And in a particular book, that the word "and" was actually put in brackets. There was an explanation given to the word and that word was put in brackets, and that word used to describe, to tell what "and" means, is "also." So in other words, "and" simply means "also." Let me go further. to explain what and means by virtue of the different semantic implications that can actually be can be gleaned from the word and. Now let me start with the first one in a book written by Randolph Quirk and Sidney Greenbaum, which is, as a matter of fact, is an authority in English language worldwide. This book is as a matter of fact, is an authority itself. Is advanced English. So, and in this book, you're able to tell what and means. Not just going to pick to look up what and means in a dictionary or what and means in a Black's Law dictionary. It was not Black's Law dictionary that was put in mind when they were drafting the Constitution. The Constitution was actually drafted in such a way that words are given their denotative meanings, not Black's Law dictionary meanings. Words are given their dictionary meanings. As a matter of fact, words have different meanings. You have denotative, connotative, and contextual. But in this case, the word and that's used there has a simple denotative meaning. And that denotative meaning is right there in any English language textbook that you can look up the meaning of and from. And it will tell you that and is a coordinating conjunction which is actually used to connect two things, two nouns, two pronouns, two sentences, two structures, two clauses, anything two or more than two. I know why I'm using the word two, so that you understand what I mean. It is not used to show a relationship between two things. Take note, it's not used to show a relationship, rather, it is used to join. It is used to join, to bring two or more things together. It is used to bring two or more nouns together. It is used to bring two or more clauses together. It is used to bring two or more sentences together. It is used to bring two or more expressions together. It is used to bring two or more phrases together. So that is it. Now, let me take us to the meaning, the implications of the word and. Now, right here in this particular book, and simply means something that can be used to show that the event in the second clause is a consequence or result of the events in the first, and can be used to show that the event in the second clause is a consequence or result of the event in the first. The example is this: he heard an explosion and phoned the police. In brackets, after the and, we have therefore in this book. And what it means is this: that he heard an explosion and therefore he heard an explosion and he therefore, that is and he. In other words, you have therefore here. So what we're actually talking about here is that what and is actually used to show the results of the event in the first clause or in the first sentence, as the case may be. So the question here is, why did he phone? What was the what was the consequence? What was the consequence? What was the result when the person we are talking about in the first sentence, who happens to be the subject here, heard an explosion? When he heard an explosion, what did he do? He phoned the police. So the results, the consequence of his hearing an explosion is for him to phone the what? The police. Number two, the events, and here is used to show that the event in the second clause is chronologically sequenced to the event in the first. Now, take a look at this example, or listen to this example. She washed the dishes and she dried them. Of course, what can you glean from here? From this particular expression, of course, you will know that there is a sort of chronological order of the events. One event comes before the other. So you have two events here, but one happens before the other. So it goes in that sort of, order. And what is the order? When you say something is actually done chronologically, it means you start on 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? So now let me take the example here again. It said she washed the dishes and she dried them. Then the bracket here, the word "and" was put in bracket here, and it tells you the meaning. It was put in the word "and." Well, there was something used to describe the word "and" here, to explain what "and" means here, and that word was put in brackets, and that word is "then." Now let me read it so that you understand what I mean. She washed the dishes and then she dried them. She washed the dishes and then she dried them. Now the question you need to ask yourself, what was the first thing she did? The question is, the answer is what? She washed the what? The dishes. What was the second thing she did? The answer is what? She dried them. So that is it, a chronological order. Now, the third is what? The second clause introduces a contrast. That is the third implication of "and." In this case, "and" shows that the second clause introduces a contrast. In other words, "and" in advanced English can also mean what? Contrast. Now, let us take the example. Say, "and," take note, "and" could be replaced by "but" in this case. When we say contrast, of course, opposite. When this implication is present, that is what this book is saying here. Now, let us take the example. Say, Robert is secretive. Robert is secretive. And David is candid. In other words, "and" means contrast here. In the alternative, "and" means "but." Robert is secretive, but David is what? Candid. So Robert is the direct opposite of what? David. So "and" can also be used to mean "but." Now, let me go further. Here we have "and" as it is used, which is the fifth now, to introduce an element of surprise in view of the content of the first. So "and" can be used to introduce an element of surprise in view of the content of the first. Now let me take the example here. So he tried hard, and yet he failed. He tried hard. Surprisingly, what happens? He failed. He tried hard. Surprisingly, he failed. So we just didn't, we just couldn't tell why he failed. So we're surprised that he failed, but he tried hard. Surprisingly, he failed. So in this particular case, and can be used to introduce surprise, and can show you something surprising happened based on what happened in the first words, in the first clause. So and is used to show surprise in the second clause based on what happened in the first clause. Now, that's the fifth meaning. So and can be used to show surprise. Now, the sixth meaning of and is a condition. In fact, and can be used as a way to show a condition of the second clause of the second sentence, as the case may be. Now, say the first clause is a condition of the second. Now, let us take the example. Give me some money, and I will help you escape. Now, the condition upon which I will help you to escape is for you to give me what? Some what? Money. In this case, and simply means what? Of course, you know what it means. And simply means simply shows a condition. So and can be used to show a condition, the condition upon which something can be done. So it can be used to show that. Now, that's the sixth meaning of and, the sixth implication of and. The seventh implication of and is that and can be used to show that the second clause makes a point similar to the first. In this case, here is the example. A trade agreement should be no problem, and a cultural exchange could be arranged. In other words, if there is a trade agreement, it means that we can also have what? A cultural what? Exchange. That's it. So a trade agreement is similar to cultural what? Exchange. In this case, and means what? Similarly. Or and means similar. So that is it here. Now, the eighth meaning, eighth implication, the eighth implication of and is this, is that and can be used in the second clause as a pure addition to the first, and can be used in the second clause as a pure addition to the first. He has long hair, and also he wears jeans. So you can see the simple meaning of and here. In this case, and simply means what? Pure addition. He has long hair and he wears jeans. In other words, and in this expression, in this sentence, means what? Also. Now, back to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, specifically Section 134, subsection 2B, which has become a subject of controversy in many fora and on many platforms online. You can see that and as used in that particular section simply means pure addition. It is not used disjunctively, and it's not used disjunctively in section 134, subsection 2B of the Constitution, and is used conjunctively. And because and is used conjunctively, what that section is telling you that you must have 2/3. You must have 25%. You must score 25% of the vote cast in FCT. You must have 25% or more, 25% or more, 25% of the vote cast in FCT before you can actually be declared the winner of a presidential election in Nigeria. In addition to the requirements that you need to meet in terms of the 36 states of the Federation. So there's a clear-cut difference between the 36 states of the Federation and the FCT, Abuja, for the purpose of the election. So for the purpose of the election, as a matter of fact, you cannot throw away the FCT and you say you want to become the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It's not possible. I think with this, I will put a stop to this particular discourse, for now, and some other time I'll explain further if maybe some new thoughts have been added to whatsoever definitions, meanings that can be attached to Section 134, subsection 2B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you very much.